Important selling points for superheroes, especially back in the early days of comic books, were to fight crime, have a catchy name, and especially wear a costume. These costumes, aside from being visually appealing to the reader, also helped hide the identity of the hero. But here's a question: do superheroes even need secret identities? Let's talk about it. Hello and welcome to Comic Misconceptions, a show that takes you into detail about the things you think you know about comics. I'm your host, Scott Niswander, and we're going to be doing a little bit of a different episode today, so let me know what you guys think about it. We'll be back to the normal format next week. Superheroes and secret identities go hand in hand, at least they used to. Nowadays, it's perfectly acceptable to have a team of superheroes without secret identities. Sure, they might have code names or aliases, but that's not really to protect who they are. Some superheroes still do hide their identities from the public, but it's not as important as it once was. It seems more like a hassle. Now, obviously, there are upsides and downsides to having a secret identity, but before we jump into this any further, I think it's important to define what we mean by secret. It's important to note that we're not going to be using the extremes of the scale, meaning if you have a secret identity, that doesn't mean that literally you are the only person that knows. Similarly, when we say you have a public identity, that doesn't mean that everybody in the world knows. We'll instead be using the terms to mean whether the identity of the hero in question has been confirmed by the media. Outing yourself at a press conference? Public identity. Revealing your face to a couple friends, family members, and maybe a few dozen subway riders? Still a secret identity, until one of those subway riders posts a selfie they took with your unconscious body online. Make sense? Good, because now I'm going to tell you why superheroes need secret identities. First off, I'm going to forego some of the more logical arguments like endangerment and destruction lawsuits, the legalities of vigilante justice, and how hard it would be to get insured if you're constantly putting your life at risk. But I will start with a common argument. Having your identity publicly known means your villains know who you are. Obviously. When villains know who's behind the mask, it's only one simple Google search away from finding a ton more info on you. Your friends, your family, your job, the YouTube channels you're subscribed to. Wink. With all of that information freely given by us to the internet gods, villains can and will attack anytime, anywhere. Plus, you can probably expect paparazzi and or riots outside of your house like every day. You gotta work that into your schedule. Heck, even if your secret identity consisted of you telling just a few friends or family members, there's no guarantee that they themselves won't turn into villains who now know everything about you. Think about how many villains start out as friends, family, or at the very least acquaintances of the hero's school or professional life. I might also add that if you do have a secret identity, don't associate yourself with the hero. Peter Parker, for instance, has gotten himself and his loved ones in so much danger simply because he totes around the idea that Spider-Man and him are friends, or at least allies. By making a career out of taking pictures of Spider-Man and building Spider-Man's tech, he essentially paints a target on the back of his head as one of the few people who can contact Spider-Man. A problem that he's recently trying to fix in the comics. See also Batman Incorporated getting Alfred kidnapped by the Joker in the Death of the Family storyline. It's not a good idea, guys. Don't do it. Batman does lead us into our next point though. By having a secret identity, you create lore around the hero. You become more than just a guy in a mask, you can become a symbol. As I've discussed before in an episode about how Superman's disguise worked, people don't think that Superman is anything but Superman. It doesn't make sense for him to have an alter ego or a day job, because why would he be anything else but Superman? Alfred said it another way in Batman number 24. He says that people don't want to see who's under the mask because it ruins the effect. He likens it to a play where the actors are playing their parts so beautifully that the audience gets transported into a new world and forgets that they're even watching a play. In the case of Batman, anonymity helps create lore around the figure. Thugs might spread around rumors about how he's actually part Bat, or he drinks the blood of his enemies. Children grow up in Gotham thinking, does he even exist, or is this just a legend that our parents are telling us? And that helps cement Batman into the myth of Gotham City long after Bruce Wayne is gone. As Bruce himself says in Batman Begins, a man is just flesh and blood and can be ignored or destroyed, but as a symbol, I can be incorruptible. Everlasting. I think that first part is really important. As a human being, you're going to be constantly judged for your actions even outside of the costume. If Tony Stark, for instance, has a drunken meltdown that results in him wrecking his home, that is directly linked to Iron Man. The media will catch wind of that and declare that Iron Man is a threat because Tony Stark is unstable. If Bruce Wayne has a similar drunken meltdown that results in him wrecking his home, that in no way affects how Batman is represented in the media. The amazing Mr. Feeney explained it well when he said this: had press coverage into the private lives of past politicians been as invasive as it is today, such men as Franklin Roosevelt and John F. Kennedy might never have been elected president. And he said that in 1996, before there was Facebook or Twitter or other social media sites whereon people were constantly posting things that will get them in trouble. The point I'm trying to get across is that a superhero should be appreciated for their actions as a hero, and not juxtaposed and compared to their actions in their private lives. It's that saying about never meeting your heroes. Only literally. There's a fantastic article by Sonia Harris about the relationship between secret identities, online privacy, and quote, invisible diseases. Link in the description if you want to go check it out, which you should. In it, she states that a superhero struggling to carve themselves out a regular slice of life amidst the secret chaos they go through as their costumed identity is a powerful metaphor for those struggling with health issues that can't be seen on the surface. I don't want to get too heavy into it, but the basic concept is that by overcoming difficult situations in secret, you become your own hero, even if no one else knows the feat you've just accomplished. Similarly, think of a time when you secretly did something nice for someone else. If you can't think of a time, go do something nice for someone else. Going out of your way to do something nice for someone else without taking the credit or expecting anything in return, that to me is what a great hero is. At the end of the day, it boils down to this. Having a secret identity that is not associated with the hero identity protects you and your loved ones, allows a transcendence of the hero and what they represent, and allows you to become your own hero.
Great point, Scott, but if I were a superhero, I would tell literally everyone I know. In fact, I'm doing a whole video on my channel talking about why having a public identity would be totally awesome. You should check it out.
That sounds like a challenge, good sir. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on the topic. What about you guys? If you were a superhero, would you have a secret identity? Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please subscribe. We do comic book videos every Wednesday, and I don't want you to miss out on any of it. And definitely be sure to check out Ricky's video about why he is in favor of a public identity. Link in the description below. We haven't coordinated on what exactly we're gonna say, so I'm super interested to see what his points are. Once again, I'm Scott, and I'll see you next week for more things that you thought you knew about comics. See ya. A few panels earlier, a young boy rescued a blind man from being hit by a truck while crossing the street. That canister fell off the truck and hit the young boy near his eyes. In other words, it's the exact same scenario that happened to Matt Murdock. That issue of Daredevil #1 never showed us what the canister of radioactive waste looked like, but thanks to the Ninja Turtles, we see that it is indeed a small canister of ooze.